Did you know that more than 70% of college students hold a job while attending classes? That statistic always makes me wonder how they juggle those worlds.
Welcome to Academic Dialogues, the podcast where we unpack the motivations behind learning and labour. I'm Alex, your analytical guide, and today we're tackling the question, do we work, do we study, and why we do both? Thanks, Sarah, for co-hosting this episode.
And I'm Sarah, here to keep the conversation lively and relatable. So listeners, have you ever asked yourself whether your studies are a job in disguise? What do you think, Alex?
To explore that, we've invited two students who live this tension every day. Liam, an engineering student balancing a demanding internship, and Sarah, a literature major who tutors to fund her passion. Their perspectives will help us see both sides of the coin.
Liam, let's start with you. Are you a student, a worker, or something in between?
And Sarah, I'm eager to hear how you frame your academic journey alongside the work you do on the side. Liam, why did you choose engineering? And how does your internship fit into that decision? What sparked the desire to build tangible things?
I chose civil engineering because I love turning abstract equations into bridges and roads you can actually walk on. The internship lets me apply classroom theory to real projects, giving me a head start before I even graduate. It's a career-driven choice that feels like a direct line from study to impact. Sarah, your path is different. What drew you to comparative literature, and how does tutoring fit into that picture? I'm curious about the pull of stories versus a paycheck. I was captivated by the way stories reveal hidden layers of human experience. So literature felt like a map to the soul. Tutoring pays the bills, but it also forces me to articulate ideas clearly, which deepens my own understanding. I study for the love of insight, not for a guaranteed paycheck.
So we have a practical, infrastructure-focused motivation on one side and a quest for intellectual depth on the other. What's fascinating is how both of you see work as an extension of study, yet the end goals feel worlds apart.
But here's what's really interesting. Both of you mentioned pressure. Liam, you talked about a relentless workload. Sarah, you hinted at societal doubts. Let's dig into what you like and dislike about each side.
Liam, what aspects of your studies and internship energize you, and where do you hit friction? I'm looking for the highs and the lows.
I get a rush when a complex design finally clicks, especially after wrestling with a tough PDE. Seeing a project move from blueprint to site feels like tangible proof of my effort. The downside? Juggling 20 credit hours with a full-time internship leaves me with almost no downtime, and the constant high-stakes environment can be draining. Sarah, what lights you up in your literary pursuits, and what drags you down in the tutoring gig? I want to hear both the joy and the grind. I love losing myself in a challenging text, tracing themes across centuries, and making connections that feel like uncovering hidden treasure. The library is my sanctuary. Tutoring, however, can feel repetitive and saps the mental energy I'd rather spend on my own readings. And I sometimes face skepticism about the practical value of a humanities degree.
That's a great point, Liam. Balancing intensity with personal time is a universal challenge. How do you cope with that pressure? And do you see any strategies that could help?
I've started blocking focus hours, where I turn off notifications and treat study time like a mini job shift. It helps, but the reality is I'm still learning to say no to extra projects, which is tough when you want to impress future employers. And Sarah, many students worry about the real-world relevance of their field. How do you respond to that doubt, and does it affect your motivation? I remind myself that critical thinking and empathy are skills that any industry needs, even if they're not labeled technical. I also seek interdisciplinary projects, like collaborating with a design class, to showcase how literature can inform creative problem solving. That keeps my motivation alive.
Here's where it gets fascinating. Both of you are carving out personal definitions of success beyond conventional metrics. What do you each consider the ultimate purpose of your work and study?
For me, purpose is building infrastructure that lasts generations, reducing carbon footprints, and improving community resilience. If a bridge I helped design stands for 50 years, that's the legacy I aim for. Sarah, what does purpose look like in the realm of literature? I'm eager to hear how you frame impact. My purpose is to expand the conversation about who we are, to give voice to marginalized narratives, and to spark empathy that can shift societal attitudes. If a reader walks away with a new perspective, That's a ripple effect I cherish. Balancing work and study is a tightrope act. Liam, what practical steps are you taking to maintain that balance as you move toward graduation? I'm adopting a project-first hierarchy, prioritizing tasks that align directly with my career goals and delegating or postponing less critical assignments. I also schedule weekly downtime for hobbies, which surprisingly boost my productivity. Sarah, how do you manage the energy drain from tutoring while keeping your literary curiosity alive? Any tricks you can share? I batch my tutoring sessions into specific days, freeing the rest of the week for deep reading. I also join a reading circle that turns my passion into a social activity, turning solitary study into shared exploration.
To sum up, we've heard that purpose can be both concrete, like building sustainable infrastructure, and abstract, like reshaping cultural narratives. Both paths require hard work, strategic balance, and a clear sense of why we do what we do.
Exactly, Alex. And listeners, think about your own mix of work and study. What hidden purpose drives you, and how can you tweak your routine to honor that purpose?
Thank you, Liam and Sarah, for sharing your candid experiences. Your stories illustrate the diverse motivations that fuel academic and professional life.
And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, hit subscribe and share it with a friend who's juggling work and study.
Next week, we'll explore how digital tools are reshaping the classroom, and we'll have a panel of educators to discuss the future of learning.
Stay curious, stay balanced, and remember, your job as a student might just be the most rewarding project you ever undertake.
Until next time, this is Alex signing off.
And I'm Sarah, saying goodbye for now. Keep the dialogue alive.